I have come here today from another planet, the planet Venezuela. A planet that today has weapons of mass development instead of mass destruction.
The U.S. has not just gotten involved in Iraq, but has gotten involved in Latin American countries, in Africa. Why? Not because to stop terrorism, because to start imperialism.
Esto es un gobierno comprometido con la democracia. Yo lo veo así. La oposición dice al contrario. El presidente Bush y su gobierno dice al contrario.
I think revolution is good anywhere in the world. Well, our people have to go to Venezuela to get heating oil. You know, it's not, we don't just need a revolution in South America. We need one here, now.
El discurso de Chávez Naciones Unidas fue emocionante para nosotros que tenemos odio de Bush, y Chávez fue la única que tiene los huevos buenos para decirlo.
They've tried to assassinate Fidel Castro some more times than you can count. And as we speak, you can bet that they're plotting to seek and overthrow Hugo Chavez. This government will stop at nothing. I'm an ex-military man, I know what they do.
Bueno, piénsenlo, traten de llevar a alguien a la presidencia, pero que cumpla con el pueblo de los Estados Unidos. Exijan fin a toda guerra. Exijan ustedes que sea cual sea el gobierno que venga, que se acabe para siempre la agresión contra ningún país de la tierra. Contra ningún país de la tierra.
¡Chávez no se va! ¡Chávez no se va! ¡Chávez no se va!
El pueblo es sabio y paciente, es el decir de los viejos, que al cantar de guacharaca saben calcular el tiempo. Dicen que viene la hora, mira, para ponernos contentos. Se fue Bolívar ayer, pero hoy viene de regreso. Vámonos para allá, vamos a su encuentro. Vámonos para allá, vamos a su encuentro.
Cuando los pueblos despiertan, cuando los pueblos se unen, son gigantes. Y ahí está la salvación del mundo, el despertar de los pueblos, la unión de los pueblos. Por eso es que el imperialismo no quiere que los pueblos despierten. Y cuando alguien como yo humildemente sale a decir verdades, entonces me llaman terrorista, me amenazan de muerte, dicen que apoyo el narcotráfico, que apoyo el terrorismo, tratan de destruirnos, pero no podrán. No podrán porque estamos dentro del alma de un pueblo y tenemos al pueblo aquí en el pecho, en el corazón.
When I was asked to introduce the president, I was delighted to do so because my experience in Venezuela just recently was filled with a great set of possibilities, great creative thinking, an opportunity to exchange thoughts with a man and the country that had only recently been most maligned. In the way in which Hugo Chavez was spoken of, the way in which the mission of Venezuela was defined, was somewhat misleading, to say the least. But when a great tragic event took place in this country, the hurricane of Katrina, which affected so many of our citizens, and in particular Afro-Americans. In this moment of great tragedy, much was expected of America, and much was expected of the American people, only to, in the face of that great tragedy, come to a disappointing realization that in this country existed a great indifference, not only to many people who were poor, but also people of color. Because our government And one of the largest voices to extend that invitation came from the Venezuelan people through its leader, President Hugo Chavez. When this offer was made to the American people, first to the American government, we rudely rejected it. We rudely rejected it in a disrespectful way, said things about the president of that country and its people that were quite misleading. However, it's not the first time that we've had such experience. After all, we said that about Nelson Mandela. We said he was a terrorist. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a fellow African, one of the great leaders in our world today, the president of Venezuela, the Bolivarian state of Venezuela, ladies and gentlemen, President Hugo Chavez.
Liberen este país tan grande, con tanto potencial. Miren, si llegara un gobierno aquí en Estados Unidos, si llegara un gobierno medianamente consciente, no estamos pidiendo un gobierno comunista, socialista, el venezolano es socialista, pero no aspiramos tanto así de la noche a la mañana. No, un gobierno con sentido, oye, humano, humanista. Si llegara un presidente inteligente, bueno, piénsenlo, traten de llevar a alguien a la presidencia, pero que cumpla con el pueblo de los Estados Unidos. Exijan fin a toda guerra. Exijan ustedes que sea cual sea el gobierno que venga, que se acabe para siempre la agresión contra ningún país de la tierra. Contra ningún país de la tierra. Para mí, Carter es un hombre de honor. Me lo ha demostrado. Ustedes saben que en Venezuela tenemos una oposición, una oligarquía, bueno, que arremete con miles de mentiras, manipulando, tratando de que el mundo crea que sí, que Chávez es un tirano, que hay una dictadura en Venezuela. En Venezuela hay una democracia, que más bien un día Lula, un buen compañero, el presidente de Brasil, llegó a decir algo, dijo Chávez, en Venezuela más bien hay exceso de democracia.
I met a Venezuelan woman in Texas. I spoke in Texas about my experiences, and she was a very nice person, regular person, but she had the most awful image of Chavez and of what was going on in Venezuela, so it was obviously just misinformation. If you're in Venezuela, I'm sure there are people in Venezuela who also, obviously there are people who are against Chavez and who get misinformation, because, for example, I know that the newspapers, many of the newspapers are still privately owned and campaign against the Venezuelan revolutionary process. But I think if you're there and if you're honest and if you really see what's going on, it can't help but affect you. So if you're here, where are you going to hear about it? You know, really, where are you going to get truth about it? It's more difficult, I'd say.
Chávez está abriendo la idea de una alternativa al capitalismo y está empezando discusiones en todas partes del mundo, pero también en los Estados Unidos, de cómo podemos construir una alternativa a este sistema. Y yo pienso que no depende en ningún solo líder ni ninguna presidente, pero se depende en un movimiento popular. Y yo pienso que este tipo de movimiento popular que ustedes han tenido en Venezuela puede ocurrir aquí.
Si Chávez no fuera democrático, en el año 2001, cuando la oposición empezó a ir a la calle en una forma agresiva, atacando al gobierno, rodeando enfrente del palacio de vivienda de Chávez, con manifestaciones muy agresivas, prácticamente pidiendo la cabeza de Chávez. Si Chávez tuviera alguna simpatía a un régimen de dictadura, hubiera usado represión contra ellos. Pero no lo hizo. Lo que hizo era movilizar su propia gente para demostrar que él tenía el mismo poder de convocatoria que tenía la oposición. La oposición convocó manifestaciones inmensas. Y por cada manifestación inmensa de la oposición, Chávez hizo lo mismo. Esa fue su táctica, esa fue su respuesta, que demuestra una vocación democrática. Porque si no hubiera hecho eso, hubiera tenido que usar represión contra esa oposición.
Had the privilege and honor of visiting Venezuela in January, along with a very formidable delegation, which included Harry Belafonte. So the visit of President Chavez is very important for this community, as it is important for all communities, those communities who are marginalized in this country, those communities who suffer in this country. This visit becomes a very important and critical meeting and visit. We want to welcome here our friends and our brothers from the Intertribal Council of Alaska. I'd like to bring to you to the stage the president and a very visionary man, President Hugo Chavez of Venezuela.
El gobierno de los Estados Unidos engaña al pueblo de los Estados Unidos. Normalmente los engaña, les manipula la información, no les habla claro, pero ustedes sienten los efectos. Ustedes saben que es verdad cuando nuestro amigo, el líder indígena, nos dice que allá un galón de gasolina cuesta $8. ¿Cómo van a hacer ustedes para vivir? Para transportarse, el combustible para el transporte, para los motores de las lanchas. Ellos son pescadores, viven de la pesca, de la caza, y la energía eléctrica para sus viviendas, para sus hospitales, sus escuelas, la conservación de los alimentos cuando lo requieran, y tantas otras cosas.
Our villages, as a result today, are dying because we're our most isolated. We're 1,200 miles from Anchorage. So the things your president was saying was really hitting our heart. We talked about doctors in Venezuela and things like that because we're 1,200 miles from our closest doctor. And this president in this country goes off about what a rich country we are and what a great country, and that's not the truth. People around the world need to talk to the real people here, and not those rich men that run this place. Because we are lucky if we get a doctor in our village 2 times a year. And 1,200 miles, the price to travel for us is almost $2,000 round trip from our village to the city where the hospital is. So it's almost impossible. And as a result, many people's health is very poor. So things that he was talking about really touched our hearts. I told him when I was visiting with him, if maybe he ever retires from presidency in Venezuela, he'll come here and run for president. I'd vote for him. Very much so. And I listened to him, and actually brought tears to my eyes. It was powerful, and to be recognized by a leader of a nation for our indigenous Alaskan people. we're America's first people, but we're always treated last. And so for a leader from another country to recognize us is like, my God, it's a wonderful feeling, yeah. I wish this guy would do the same.
Y nosotros no estamos regalando nada, solo estamos siendo coherentes con nuestro pensamiento. De esa misma ganancia que la empresa Silvio está obteniendo por sus operaciones en Estados Unidos, traemos petróleo, lo refinamos, lo vendemos aquí, y distintos combustibles. De esa misma ganancia, una parte se está transformando en este mecanismo de cooperación con las comunidades indígenas de Alaska, con las comunidades pobres de algunas ciudades como Nueva York, como Chicago.
Well, clearly, President Chavez is more and more respected in the world every day. We can see that as he gets more support from throughout the entire world. He's traveling all over the world, and I think it's amazing, for him to see him doing what Fidel has done in the past is a beautiful thing,
Apoyarnos en todo cuanto se pueda. Esa es la misión de un gobierno, apoyar a su pueblo. Lo dijo Abraham Lincoln, la democracia es el gobierno del pueblo, el gobierno por el pueblo y el gobierno para el pueblo. No el gobierno para una minoría que se enriquece y el pueblo se empobrece. Eso no es democracia. Eso no es democracia, eso es tiranía, eso sí es dictadura, pero disfrazada de democracia.
I think we were all inspired by the Bolivarian Revolution and what they're doing. That the people are actually working, to create their own society, to create their own democracy, and that just seemed really genuine to us and very, very promising, very hopeful. And so we wanted to show solidarity with that. That's how we
For
started.
me, it was really fascinating how different the reality was on the ground from what I heard in the media. And that's why, for me, our goal is to really educate more than anything, because we feel the mass media, for some reason, is not really representing what everyone who I know has seen down there, who's been there. And it's so that's a real goal of ours, is to really try to balance out the information that's really shared with the American public. So
I am told there is a group of indigenous people in Venezuela where the leader is defined as the one who listens. I believe Hugo Chavez is such a leader. And let us pray that someday the world will be filled with leaders who listen. Especially let us pray that it will happen here within our own United States of America.